We at FUTTRADING.co.uk are giving away an Xbox Series S in time for Christmas as a way to say thank you for all the insane support you guys have given us on the site in the last 9 months since we launched. It's been an awesome journey, it's been hard work, there's been tears, there's been happiness. But yeah, you guys have been unreal. So we wanted a way to say thank you, and so we decided to get an Xbox Series S and give it away completely free to one lucky site subscriber. So if you've ever debated joining the website, now is the time to do it. Especially now, because we just launched our Xbox and PS4 fluctuation tracker. What this does is automatically track the price at the low end and high end for certain cards and tells you when to buy in when they're at the lowest and sell when they're at the highest. It went live yesterday. We've got people that are already making 20 to 30,000 coins per card on certain cards on the market. It's updated regularly. It's an unbelievably insane tool. It's taken a lot of work to get to where it is now. But yeah, it's a brand new feature launched. So make sure you check out FUTTRADING.co.uk for your chance to win an Xbox Series S for Christmas. But for now, let's get into the video. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. As always, if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe down below. Make sure you turn your notifications so you never miss a trading upload. Don't forget to check out FUTTRADING.co.uk. This month we're giving away an Xbox Series S to one lucky site subscriber. If you've ever debated using us, make sure you go over to FUTTRADING.co.uk. Join the Discord, it's free to join. Make sure you check me out on Twitter and I live stream on Twitch. Make sure you click the link down below. Firstly, apologies if I sound a bit bunged up. I'm very, very ill. A lot of you on the channel know that I've been quite unwell recently. My immune system's quite weak. Harrison's come home from school and brought home some germs and it's knocked me for 6. But I want to make sure I get some content out for you. And this video is a bit of a different one. This is about panic selling. And basically, we've got Team of the Group stage coming tonight, so you guys will see that. But there's rumour that we get icon swaps tonight. Now, whether or not we get icon swaps tonight is another matter. But icon swaps is coming. We know that for a fact. Now, last year, I didn't like icon swaps. I only did icon swaps at one point, and that was to get my first owner moments over Mars, because I wanted a first owner mark over Mars. Everyone knows my favourite player in the game, one of my favourites in real life. And so I did it. But I didn't like icon swaps last year because they replaced icon SBCs. This year, I was like, wow, icon SBCs are coming back and icon swaps. Brilliant. And then you see the dross that EA have dropped for icon SBCs, and you realise actually it's a big giant scam. But icon swaps is a very good place to make coins, and the reason for that is when icon swaps are released, players go on to all the icons go onto the icon swaps list, and with that comes a panic from people that own certain icons, usually the icons that are on that list. Now, it doesn't mean that only those icons drop, because what tends to happen to the icon market during icon swaps is it drops off inherently. People in the panic of icon swaps come in, sell their icons off, and there's usually a drop in the market before a bounce back afterwards. So I'm going to show you some FUTBIN graphs to give you an idea of what happens. And I want to explain the graphs on FUTBIN, because a few people have sort of been saying to me, can you go into more detail about the graphs on FUTBIN? So I will do that. But just know that you've got to be on the ball with this, and you've got to have some knowledge of what it is you're looking at in order for you to really make the most amount of coins you possibly can. So I'll show you some tools on FUTBIN. Again, the website will have all this stuff there for you basically. The prices will be there, so you ain't got to worry too much if you're a site subscriber. But let's head over to FUTBIN and we'll go from there. Alright, so I want to start by bringing up the icon swaps from the first one last year, which is October 11th to December. Behind my camera here is Schmeichel and Closer. You can't see them, but don't worry about them too much. They follow a very similar trend to this. But what happened when this came out was there was a massive amount of panic on the market and people started lifting up lots of icons, especially those at the lower end. So the ones basically, how icon swaps work is you can get tokens over the course of it, and you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can get the better icons. So certain tokens, so for example, I think Drogba was 23 tokens if I remember rightly, but Guardiola and Okocha were like 8 each. So you can get Guardiola and Okocha straight away by doing the icon swaps. You didn't have to wait to get either of them. Guardiola was quite popular actually. It was quite a good card early game. But what happened was people listed them up. Now, I'm going to show you the graphs on FUTBIN for some of these cards. What you have to remember is FUTBIN does not take into account undercuts and panic in that sense. It gives you a daily average price. But all of these cards and other icons, just standard other icons, were panic sold on that night. And really, on the Saturday as well, the Friday was bad and the Saturday was still quite bad before they bounced back later on. So, we'll start by looking at Butragueño. So, Butragueño's here. I think he was quite a high number of tokens. You couldn't get him in the first set of swaps. I don't even know if you can get him in the second, to be fair. But Butragueño is 87 card from last year on FIFA 20. There you go. And this was his price, basically, at the point when he came out. So we got up for Weekend League to 795. Over the course of that Weekend League, it dropped off to 748. Now, that's a pretty standard drop-off. It is a pretty standard drop-off. Before he bounced back and climbed again and got higher and higher up to 857. Now, Butragueño is not someone that I would recommend you invested in, but I want to show you that it did affect all the market throughout the whole of it. Now, does Bucciograno see that big of a dip? No, but there were undercuts on him, and I remember buying a Bucciograno on the Friday. I think I paid 710, if I'm not mistaken, and I sold him later the next week for about 800k. Now, is that the best trade in the world? Not necessarily. 50k profit is very good, but you can do that just generically with icons. For the spend, you probably want a little bit more than that in terms of a return. But it was a good pickup no matter what happened. It was good. But the bigger cards were not immune to the drop-off. They did drop off. But the cards that were, in my opinion, the ones that saw the heaviest hit at the time, and the graphs don't really show it so much, but with these two here, Littman also, for some random reason, Littman got hit as well. But Guardiola and Okocha, I want to show you the graph here. So this is the Friday when it comes out. And usually into Weekend League, the Saturday's usually a high, but he actually drops off and drops off and drops off. And the lowest he gets to is 320 from a high of 336. Now, you're looking at that thinking, well, there's not much profit there, but it wasn't that fact. That was the average price. What actually happened was Guardiola's were being listed up at 300 and below, and I was picking them up and then flipping them on a couple of days later for 340s and 350s. It was relatively consistent because you saw quite a big jump into the next Weekend League once that panic was over. And you've got to be on the ball in terms of what prices are right now. So going on to the market right now at 5:30 and seeing the prices of these icons and getting an idea is a very, very good place to start with this, because you want to have an idea of what they do. But the most important thing you have to do is give it time. So you'll see Guardiola, let's say for example Guardiola's in this icon swaps, whether it's today or next week. If Guardiola's in his icon swaps, let people list them and let the undercuts happen. Because what you'll see people do is go, he's 20k down, you buy him. But if you just leave it, someone will come along and undercut him again. And someone might undercut that undercut. And you can end up picking up a very good deal. You guys saw it the other day when I was talking about fluctuation trading. I waited on that Zanetti. I waited and waited and waited. Eventually someone listed one at 299. I think I saw them 335 in the end. And that's what you've got to do. Wait for the undercut. It's better to miss out on an okay deal and hope for a good deal than it is to get an okay deal and potentially end up with what isn't an okay deal and what ends up being a bad deal. JJ Okocha, another one that you can get straight away. If I remember rightly, he was 8 tokens. You could get him straight away. On the Friday, was sat at 321. Got as low as 294 on Xbox and 294 on PlayStation. The PlayStation bounce back was actually a lot less consistent than Xbox, but by next Friday, from a low of 294, on Xbox he hit a 368 and on PlayStation a 329. Now, if you're buying at 294 on PlayStation and going 329, there's profit there. It's not massive, that's like 15k I think, but it ain't massive of profit. However, again, this does not take into account the panic and the undercuts. It's a daily average price of what that card was being listed up for. There were undercuts consistently on these cards, and they were relatively easy to pick up. They sat on the market for quite a while. And so, what I would suggest doing when Icon Swaps comes out is look to the players who are relatively easy to get early on. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean you just focus on those, but look at the players that are easy to get straight away. Your 8 token guys, even your 10 to 12, 13 token guys, people do tend to panic list them. The whole icon market in general drops down. But it's just something to be mindful of in that sense. And really the sell time comes next Friday, if you can pick them up in there. But the market does rise. And what we have seen on this FIFA this year is a lot of drop in the market at certain points and a relatively good bounce back quite quickly. And so end of Weekend League comes and the lowest point there, because this is what the trend was last year, lowest point end of Weekend League, then you start to buy it and go up. Does that mean you can't buy on the Friday? No, it doesn't. It means you can buy on the Friday because some of the undercuts will be bigger. There'll be big undercuts compared to where it was. You could flip them overnight for profit. But for me, the buy-in point usually is going to be Sunday, because that's when you've got Weekend League sell-off, squad battle rewards. That's when you can probably look at buying into these cards, because what would have happened is they've come down over Weekend League. They've consistently come down into the Sunday. Sunday should relatively be the lowest point. The graphs last year show that, except for just slightly on PlayStation, saw a climb, a dip even further, and then a climb again. But you ain't got to panic. Sunday buy-in, Friday sell-on. What I want to do now quickly is show you a couple of tools on FUTBIN for this year that can give you an idea of what the icon market's doing, so you guys can then sort of inform yourselves of the cards you want to buy. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so here we are on this year's FUTBIN. I mean, it's the same FUTBIN, it's just FIFA 21. And really important tools, and I've started using them a lot more recently. Over time, I've started to use these because they do have a benefit. We have the website, and so the website to me is all I need. But if I'm looking at fluctuation trading, before we put the fluctuation tracker on the site, you could use this quite well. But under the market tab here, you've got options of like special index, ones to watch index, gold, whatever. The icon one is the one that I'm interested in right now. So what I'll do is I'll go into this icon index and it'll give me an idea. So it tells me here, market's up 1.15%. Market momentum, market's starting to wake up. So usually overnight, it's when it's lower, then it tends to, as the day progresses, get higher. But if you look at someone like this Patrick Kluivert, this tells you the top ups, and the top downs. So it's telling you right now that Guardiola's up very expensively. Ruud van Nistelrooy is very expensive. I would be very mindful when these prices, they're not very accurate. What this will be is that the cheap Riquelmes have been bought. There's not many on the market. Someone says to the Riquelme at 380. Whether they get 380 for it's another matter. Whether you get 800 for Pep Guardiola is another matter. But the downs are the really important part here. So if you look at someone like a Patrick Kluivert, for example, he's down 17% at the moment according to this. Now, we'll have a little look on the game and just see if he actually is down at the moment, or if those are undercuts and they've already gone. Let's go Kluivert. This is 86 card, right? So there's one sat on the market at the moment at 290. I'm going to add this to my transfer targets because that could be a decent buy. But it'll give me an idea. So what I want to do is I've got Kluivert at 290. I'm then going to go check his price out in the hourlies, basically. And he's been consistently 335, down at 303. And now this, to me, when I look at this, right, it's gone up there, 360 at one point. I doubt anyone got 360 for him. 287. Is this 290 that going to buy? Not really. The market is up from Black Friday. I probably want to hold off an undercut if I'm going to buy into this card anyway. But it says to me to a degree that the market is starting to drop slightly in certain icons. And now if we go to the market index, if you look at a lot of these cards that are down, Laudrup, Wright, Kenny, Larson, let's look at Perlo, let's get Rush up. These are the sort of cards that you're going to get probably in Icon Swaps 1. A base Laudrup, for example. Baby Wright. Baby Dalglish. I mean, he'll probably be in Icon Swaps 1, but be a lot of tokens. Henrik Larsson's mid-card. I'd arguably say that the 86 is better, I'm not going to lie to you, but... Andreas Perlo, again, the cards we would tend to see in it are seeing a bit of a dip today. Is that panic in the lead up to potential icons tonight? Potentially. The market shouldn't really be that down at the moment. And Friday tends to be when the market starts to climb. As you can see, in general it is up. But to me, these are the sort of cards I'd expect to be looking at for Icon Swaps 1. Robert Pires. Like, Robert Pires is down at 230 at the moment. Vieri, is that Patrick Kluivert? Where's Vieri? It is Vieri. He's down, on average, about 7% at the moment. And this is a brilliant tool for tonight. So 6 PM hits. If we do get icon swaps, keep an eye on this tool. Refresh it. If you haven't got the website, refresh. And just keep an eye on I call them the movers and shakers. Which cards are going down. I wouldn't worry too much about the ups at the moment. I'm more interested in the downs here. If you see someone like a Kluivert down 25%, 30%, that's your cue to think, actually, let me look at his price. Let me look at his graphs. Let me see what he's done for the last few days. So you know that for most of Friday, he's been in and around a sort of... I'd average him out about 320 here, but look, he's coming down all the day. He started off at 335 at 3 o'clock this morning, coming down, a little bounce there, back down even further to 303. But yesterday's price, consistently in and around the 280s, he sort of saw a rise overnight into Weekend League. Wednesday's price consistently about 300, 280, 290. So you want to be mindful of that. But your buy-in's going to want to be lower than some of these prices, to be fair, because you don't want to run the risk of buying in too high. But that tool is sensational for it. And that tool can be used for anything. If you're looking at special cards, for example, specials at the moment up 0.4%, nothing special. Again, number one, it gives you an idea of how to track the market and what it was doing on Thursday. Then it climbed. Overnight last night got very high. So from a low yesterday of, 116 at 1 o'clock, it got up to as high as at 2 o'clock this morning, 124. But again, it gives you here the cards that are down. So David Silva, Andres Iniesta, Galaxy. It gives you an idea of the price of these cards at the moment. Alejandro Gomez, Federico Valverde. That gives you an option to buy into these cards. Are any of these cards I'm interested in? No, not at all. But it's just a really good tool to keep an eye on the market, especially for icons. Icons are relatively consistent. Special cards can be a bit iffy. They fluctuate. Sometimes you need team of the weeks for objectives and stuff like that. Sorry, not for objectives, for SBCs. So be mindful of that. But icons especially, the icon tracker on this market is sensational. It's very, very good. It can be iffy. Don't always rely upon it. Do your own research. If you see Kluivert down, okay, he's down, but where's he down from? Where has he been recently? You want to keep an eye on that. But tonight, or whenever Icon Swaps drops, this is your play. Keep an eye on this. Then go and check the players out and go, okay, cool. So, for example, Laudrup's down 12%. Where has he been recently? Let's go hourlies. Today, been consistently at 280. He has taken a massive hit down to 250 from 285. Yesterday, 234 though. He's just on a massive climb overnight. Again, Wednesday, market was quite low. He's at 244. The 246 isn't terrible, and that's a massive, massive undercut. I'm assuming that will be gone. I'll have a little look at the market right now. Let's have a little look. Laudrup. I'm going to assume that one, that 246 is gone. No, there's a 240 now. There's a 246 and a 240. Again, I'm kind of interested. Am I interested to buy enough right now? Probably not, because that 246 has sat there for a while. But this to me says there is a little bit of worry in the market, especially at the lower end, because people might be able to get the first 8 tokens. So I would just be mindful of that. But that is how to prep yourself and how to trade with icon swaps. If you are new around here, make sure you subscribe down below and turn your notifications. Whatever you do, head over to FUTTRADING.co.uk. If you've ever debated trying us, this is your month. A chance to win an Xbox Series S as our way of saying thank you for all the mad support you've had in the last 9 months. But for now, lads, I am out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.